Hey guys, so doing a video I've been wanting to do for a while. It's actually really easy, four simple steps, and I did notice DJ Allen just posted a video like this, and his video is really good. It involves a little more chemicals than I use, or different types of chemicals. Like a lot of people like to put some bike shine on their stuff after they're done washing it, which is fine, and I used to do it all the time, but I don't do that anymore because someone like me, I go riding multiple times a week, so I like to get my bike done and washed and ready to load up in my truck in less than an hour. So after years of washing, I kind of narrowed it down to it's basically 3 steps, but there's a pre-step, which I'll go over in a minute. But I'll start by kind of talking a little bit about how the bike's been. I'll do a full review after I just ordered some FMF exhaust for it. So I got a big ding right there out in the hills. So after I get that, I'll go ahead and do a nice review on it. Right now, I'm only at 12.1 hours on it. So it'll be like a 15-hour review. And then there in the background is Jacob's bike, which has a lot less hours on it because the first time we took it out to our local track, not sure exactly what happened, but he cracked his case right in the middle where the cases come together underneath. And that was actually a really sad day. Brand new bike, less than 5 hours on it. And this is actually a cool story because Husqvarna, we got a hold of Husqvarna and they told us they only had 2 sets of cases for these bikes ready to go. And out of the goodwill of their hearts, they gave Jacob brand new cases. And the mechanic over there working at Peninsula Motor Group, where we bought the bikes, actually gave him a killer deal on the service, and he was able to walk away with his bike completely redone for less than $500, which is just unbelievable service by the guys over at Motor Group, the mechanic there, and Husqvarna. So it's really a good story. And he's only at 7.1 hours now after riding it once. I'm sitting on a whole bunch of content right now that I haven't uploaded since when I first got the bike, that I'm working on putting into a little compilation. Hopefully make a cool video out of it. Whole bunch of cool little crashes and fails. So if anyone's Derek Hallman or Moto Madness, I know you guys use my stuff a lot. So that's going to be coming out soon. So now I guess we'll get down to the washing portion of the video, where it's okay, I'll call it 4 steps. First one's going to be pre-soaking. So I'm just going to spray the whole bike down, get as much of the loose stuff as I can off, and then we'll proceed with step 2. Oh, and before I start, I wanted to go over what I'm using. I'm actually using the stuff that I get from my local tire shop. It's called white wall tire cleaner. So if you have any place that sells white wall tire cleaner, it's super aggressive and you don't want to let it sit for very well. Put on a white bike like this, or a bike with white graphics like that one. This white wall tire cleaner will make it look factory again, especially like underneath these blue frame guards here that I got. Before I had those, I was leaving boot scuff marks all over my frame, and this stuff got it out really easy. Really good alternatives to this is going to be Purple Power or Simple Green. Simple Green being a little bit weaker. If you use Purple Power, which I've used a lot, you want to dilute it quite a bit, and you never want to let it sit. So I've never let it sit myself, so I've never had any problems with it. I basically just do what I'm going to do here with this stuff. I'll show you in a minute. And I also threw a few splashes of it in my wash bucket here. So we're going to start with pre-soak. Okay, pre-soaked. Before I start the first actual step of washing it, I'm gonna go over the freaking Husky airbox. Normally, on my KTM, I have to either tape it off so I don't get water in there, or just plan on replacing the air filter as soon as I'm done washing it. But on this bike, being a Husqvarna, the airbox is relatively sealed. I mean, there's not a whole lot of room for air to squeak on in there. So, I don't really actually have to do very much taping, and I can spray it down, and if my air filter's not completely dirty and wasted, I can reuse it. If I just want to go be a gravel pit dick and not ride in any dust, I can use it several times. One of the benefits of the Husqvarna style. Okay, so now, to the first step. I've broken the bike up into 3 different sections. So if you want to have this done quick and make sure you get everything, because it's so easy to forget something, I just break it up into 3 simple chunks. And that's going to start with basically the neck and the front of the bike and the handlebars. I'll do that first and just knock it out of the way. And I'll also get inside the radiator guards and get that stuff, because that's the easiest time to access that. And then after that, I'll go ahead and get all the plastics and the engine, and I'll save the rear end and the swing arm, the rear wheel. I'll save that for last, and the linkage. And a lot of guys, which I used to do it myself, take the bike off the stand and lay it over on its side, resting it on the stand so that you can get underneath it, which is fine, and it's helpful to have that stuff clean. However, it's not always completely necessary, especially if you're riding it a lot, as often as I am. You don't need to do that every time. So, we'll go ahead and start phase 1, which is use my shit here and get it on the wide spray. So that way I just try and get as much coated as I can with as few sprays as possible. I mean, you don't need to get that much, you just need to get it everywhere. And then after I do this, I'm going to go ahead and just wipe it all down with the wash mitt. I mean, everything that I can easily access, that is. Make sure and get under the fender. Okay, so I got all that stuff soaking in this stuff. Don't want to let it sit for very long, because if you let it sit on your seals, it can eat away at your seals, or if you let it sit on your plastic, if it's not white, it'll start turning white. So try to be slightly quick. Okay, so now I got it all mostly wiped off. Just got to spray it off, see how it looks before it dries. Turn the bars. Okay, so now that front end is done. I'm going to move on. I'm going to start here, work my way back, get all the plastic, get the frame and the motor. And underneath here where the pipe goes in and all that, this is when I'm going to clean that stuff up. And I'm going to leave this stuff here for the final step. So, this is where the wide nozzle really comes in handy. You just sit here and you can get it all. Get up in there. And optional, you can get underneath here at this point too, or you can save that for step 3. Doesn't matter. Okay, so now it's all pretty much all coated. I missed the pipe a little bit here and underneath there. Go over it with the wash mitt real quick. If you're using really high-powered stuff like I'm using, you don't, I mean, that pretty much takes it all off on its own. The wash mitt is basically just gonna knock off all the big debris and stuff that won't come off on its own. So, I missed a little bit right there and a little bit right there, so I'll just go and touch that up real quick. Cool, now that's done. Everything's all clean as far as that shit goes. Last thing, what we're gonna do is the swing arm, the wheel, all that, and make sure you get the linkage, get that clean, because that is really important to keep that clean and well lubricated. Otherwise, your dirt's gonna get in there, water, you know. If you don't spray WD-40 on it, the water's gonna get in there and it's gonna rust your bearings away, and your shit's gonna seize up. So you wanna make sure and get the linkage and the swing arm bearings, get all that stuff. And now's a good time to take the wash mitt to all the underneath here. So we're gonna knock that out real quick. So it's not exactly a part of washing the bike, but it's really important that after you're done, go ahead and hit your bolts, important bolts, and your bearings with some of this, except for this rear wheel bearing, because you don't want to get WD-40 all over your brake. So I'll go ahead and get the headset and the pinch bolts there. And the reason you want to do this is this is a rust preventative. WD-40 stands for water displacement 40. So it displaces water, replaces it with lubrication. So hit all your linkage, hit your bearings here, hit any bolts or things that you care about and don't want to replace later down the road. And if you're like me, you'll get crazy and just put it on the wide nozzle and fucking get everything, because it's a new bike and everything's still nice and tight on it. So I'll waste some WD-40. Alright, so there you have it. A clean bike in under, I don't know, if I wasn't sitting here recording everything, I could have had this done in 15 minutes. So if you got a dirty bike and you want to be at the track in an hour, that's how you do it.